The finally awaited upgrades to the Mercedes W14 have arrived, and after a magnificent double podium in Spain, it's evident that the change was the right thing for the team to do. Mercedes seems to have dropped to being the fourth fastest car when the season started, but now they seem to have gone to being the second fastest. And the question that we're all asking ourselves is, are they really back? Keep on watching and you might just find out. Upgrades to the W14 could not have come sooner. Everyone was waiting, drivers, fans, everybody. And Mercedes has finally decided to let go of the unconventional zero side pod design in favor of a proper side pod like the rest of the teams on the grid. And while this is the most visible and talked about feature, it isn't the only one that the car has changed. You should watch a video explaining the changes to the car, which include a new floor and an updated front suspension. The upgraded Mercedes W14 had its first significant assessment at the Spanish Grand Prix. The race was highly anticipated, as the car would be put to the test in a competitive setting for the first time. In Monaco, the revamped W14 made its debut after the race in Italy, where the upgrades were meant to come. But that was cancelled because of the floods, as you probably are aware of. But the street circuit was insufficient to provide a true sense of their potential. The Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, is a familiar testing circuit in Formula One. It has a conventional layout, it's a more suitable environment to collect valuable data compared to the streets of Monaco, and it's a good indicator of how well a car will perform on other tracks. In Monaco, despite the fact that the true pace of the car couldn't be fully determined, there seems to be improvement. And the drivers left in a very positive mood with a very high set of hopes for a better performance in the following race. Toto Wolff, however, has voiced his worries before entering Spain regarding the problems that they had in Monaco. He said, "The car felt together, which is important, but it's still a bit nasty on the rear, so that's something that we need to dial out of the car for the next few races. But we have a new baseline, and that's important to say. Okay, this is what we have now. We've taken questions off the table where we weren't sure of, be it in the front suspension or the extravaganza of our bodywork, so let's work from here. We're good at grinding away, and the work that the team has done in the factories to bring that update here to Monaco from our team, that's a really big effort." The mix of apprehension and excitement sets a curious mood, I do gotta say, and when the drivers took to their track for practice runs, all eyes were on the Mercedes garage, waiting to see how that car would perform. The practice sessions weren't that motivating, as the Mercedes team found themselves finishing 10th and 12th in the first session, more than a second off of Max Verstappen, who topped all 3 sessions. In the second practice, it was just about the same. But in the third practice, the W14 picked up some pace, and the gap closed to about 0.4 seconds, with Lewis Hamilton finishing third, even though there were complaints about the drivability of the car. In qualifying, the pace was also lacking, as George Russell was kicked out of the quarter 2, and Lewis was only able to put his car in 5th position. But on Sunday, the W14 came alive. The car seemed to have found its rhythm. The upgraded W14 showed promising signs of improvement. The car's new floor and revised front suspension provided better aerodynamics, stability, and tire degradation, allowing for quicker lap times. Hamilton displayed a stellar performance, moving up to second place after passing the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz and never looking back. Russell, who has started from the 12th spot on the grid, made a remarkable comeback, steadily and easily overtaking car after car and finishing on the podium. The highlight of this fact was that he finished ahead of Perez, who started the race 11th. And considering the pace of the Red Bull, that was no small feat. I mean, come on, right? Lewis was thrilled with the performance. He said, "What a result for our team. We definitely didn't expect to have this result today, so I just want to take my hat off to the team and a big thank you to everyone back at the factory who are continuing to push and bring us closer to the Bulls." It was a great day for the team, and a double podium and a haul of 33 points, which is the team's most impressive performance this season. As the champagne flowed on the podium, it truly felt like the W14 was back. But is it? When asked if Mercedes was back following their best race of 2023, Wolff said, "Let's keep our expectations real. There is such a long way to go in order to catch Red Bull. We just need to grind away." It's a good moment to see that the development direction is right. I think that the learnings are that we have a good race car. I think Lewis was a good 5-6 seconds behind Max when he cleared Carlos, and I think that we're just much closer. But you see what the benchmark is. The gap at the end of 20 seconds? Maybe it's 15 in reality, but that's just not where we aim to be. We just need to chip away, and we're really good at grinding. Once there's a set-up direction that we're set for, when we develop in that direction, we just go for it. We have that advantage in terms of aero time, but again, we also have to be realistic. Today, the temperatures really suited us. It was nice, it was fresh, not too cold, not too hot. The car was in the absolute mega window. Let's take a look at the numbers. We'll try and draw some useful parallels between their weekend in Spain and the rest of their season to get a sense of how well they performed in Spain and how big their improvement was. For our comparison, we're going to use Red Bull as a benchmark. So we'll use the winner's time from all races this season, with the exception of Australia, naturally, and the time from the leading Mercedes at the end of the race to the race time gap. With that, we can then calculate the average gap per lap by dividing this time by the total number of laps in each race. In the first race, the gap per lap was 0.894 seconds. In the second race, it was 0.517 seconds. In the fourth race, it was 0.905 seconds. In the fifth race, it was 0.583 seconds. In Monaco, the gap was 0.501 seconds. And finally, in Spain, the gap was 0.365 seconds. And if we go to Toto's comment that the true gap between Lewis and Max was 15 seconds, then the deficit per lap is just about 0.23 seconds. The results show that progress has been made, the W14 has increased pace, and that the team might even close the gap to Aston Martin, who were about a second slower per lap compared to Red Bull in the last race in Spain. And while this is exciting news, it should be taken with a pinch of salt. The performance might have just been track-specific, and in coming races, the pace seen in Spain might not be there anymore. Remember last year? Mercedes had a pretty good race in Spain, with Russell finishing on the podium and Lewis recovering from the back of the grid to fifth after an incident on lap 1 with Kevin Magnussen. But that amounted to absolutely nothing, and for the rest of the season, the pace wasn't matching. The good news is that we don't really have to wait too long to find out if it was just the track characteristics that helped Mercedes or whether they've actually improved. The next race is just around the corner. But, it goes without saying that we shouldn't get too ahead of ourselves yet. The team's trackside engineering director, Andrew Shovlin, has warned of the challenges that they expect in Canada, with a track layout presenting a different set of challenges. Here's what he said. We're looking forward to more exciting racing, but certainly we're aware that Canada is likely to be a bigger challenge than the Sunday that we just had in Barcelona. There are more low-speed corners, quite a lot of straight-line full throttle, and we would expect more of a challenge there. We're not thinking that we're going to nip at the heels of Red Bull. We're going in there prepared for a battle with Ferrari, Aston Martin, and maybe even Alpine. The improvements made a noticeable difference in the car's performance. It'll take a lot more work for Mercedes to once again be a serious contender, but this is the kind of progress that'll get them there. As a result of their triumph in Barcelona, Mercedes has now edged Aston Martin to take over second place in the standings. Will that continue? We'll just have to wait and see. That's it for today. Subscribe to the channel and come back for more Formula One content. Bye for now. Actually, I have a friend that wants to say something.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ed. Did you need something from me there, bud? Subscribe to the wonderful world of Formula 2? I'm sorry, son. I don't understand what I'm doing here. All this thinking is getting me tired. Do whatever this man wants and just let me go to bed. Where am I, President? I swear I'm